So when most people talk about the mid 1970s and the amount of impact of science fiction movies, usually Star Wars and Close Encounters of the Third Kind gets most of the talk. But it was a movie that was just as important that came out one full year before Star Wars did. Today we're going to talk about the great production of Logan's Run. Now, MGM at that time still had a lot of the big sets and a lot of the big, what do you call, guilds that could help a movie. Now, this science fiction film, directed by the great Michael Anderson, starred Michael York of Three and Four Musketeers fame, the very beautiful, underrated Aussie actors Jenny Agutter, Richard Jourdain, Roscoe Lee Brown, Farrah Fawcett, and Peter Ustinov. Now, the screenplay by David Zelig Goodman is based on the book Logan's Run by William F. Nolan and contemporary of Rod Serling, George Clayton Johnson. It depicts a utopian future society on the surface, revealed as dystopia where the population and the consumption of resources are maintained in equilibrium by killing everyone that reaches the age of 30. Now, this seems like a very simple comp construct, but it's very complex in the presentation. Now, the main story is Michael York's character, Logan 5, who plays Sandman, who's hired to terminate others who attempted to escape death and is now faced with termination itself. And in the plot of the movie, the people that are turning 40, 30 go into a big kind of mini coliseum or theater renewal, and in the hopes they will be reincarnated. But Logan 5 finds out through very strange means that all of this is a fake or a construct, and he seeks to go outside the dome or the city that he grew up in. It's quite dramatic. Like the special effects are tremendous. Won a special Academy Award for its visual effects, including six Saturn Awards in 1977, including Best Science Fiction Film. Now, there was a kind of unofficial, not say sequel, but a reinterpretation on TV that lasted 14 episodes. It was a favorite of mine back in the day, but the basic plot of the movie couldn't be carried over an extensive version for TV, just like Planet of the Apes going to TV. It's okay for 2 hours, but not for 13 or 14 episodes. Now, the main thing about this, the very important scenes, including the scene in Carousel where renewal takes place, the chase scenes, the scenes on the outside, the scenes in relation to actually there's a very important subplot where it's like what do you call getting faceless to try to escape from the possibility and of being terminated. But like I said, overall, but what's kind of weird about this to see a young Farrah, well, not a young Farrah Fawcett, but an early Farrah Fawcett countermatch with the great acting of Michael York and Jenny Agutter, something for everything, everybody in this movie. Richard Jourdain is always strong, and Jerry Goldsmith, he's done a lot of good work doing the music in this. Gives it a extra, vim and vigor, as we say. Now, this was released on June 23rd, 1976, 2 hours long, almost a full year before Star Wars, and it was a big hit to the box office. Big budget at the time, $8 million movie, and made 25 million at the box office. Now, the critics had great things to say about it. Um, Even though Roger Ebert gave the film 3-star rating, he called the film a vast, silly extravaganza with a plot that crosses between the city and the stars and elements of Planet of the Apes, which is true. And it's a fun movie. Of course, Vincent Carnby, Canby of the New York Times, shit on it, calling it, for what purpose was this movie ever made? Now, Gene Siskel really, he also hated it. He said it's the worst motion picture I've seen this year. Gene Siskel, sometimes his head was up his arse. I can tell you the crowd I saw this with, I think it was Capitol Theater in Dalhousie, they were extremely, into the movie, cheering at the right places. And Academy Awards too. Other nominations, of course, Best Cinematography, Ernest Laszlo. It's a visually, it's a stunning movie. Elements of this movie were actually mimicked in Total Recall years later. I don't want to give away how, but you have to watch both movies. I haven't seen it. And also was nominated for Best Art Direction with Dale Hennessy and Robert DeVessel. Now, overall, there was also talk of a remake, and then as of the last couple of years, it is still in pre-production. I think the movie could be redone with like a Matt Damon type or a Brad Pitt type, because Michael York, a very handsome man, very talented man, and Jenny Agutter, she was a big draw back then because of her great success in numerous Australian and New Zealand movies. But overall, like I said, the movie, if you paid at the time $4 for the movie, which is like $13 now, you got your money's worth. There's something very interesting in the first of the movie, the middle part, and at the end. And just like, before Soylent Green and the Mega Man, Planet of the Apes, it basically looks at a future that's a possibility unless we don't change our ways. Most of the MGM style of movies is that the presentation says, this is a possible future. This is not the only future. But the cinematography of this is best seen on the big screen at a drive-in or a big screen like the old Paramount in Campbellton or maybe the Cineplex screens. The screen is filled with everything important. And Peter Ustinov playing not say a survivor of the of carousel, but someone that's not been exposed to carousel. He gives a very Peter Ustinov performance. He kind of plays himself with the different accents he does. So in this COVID started, wish everybody happy days and stay safe. Have a good day. Bye.